So, dear guests, let's begin our webinar. Today we will discuss two technologies that put the whole world upside down. One technology is associated with innovations. Another one is associated with social innovations, namely crowd investing. The information you will receive today may improve your life significantly. This information may also change the lives of your close relatives or friends for better. That's why we are to invite those relatives and friends to attend this webinar. Please, you can send your comments or questions to the chat box of the webinar. To begin with, we will discuss the technology. And in the second part of the webinar, we will discuss the financial part of the project and how each of you may earn money on this project.
Меня зовут Павел.
My name is Pavel. I'm involved in popularization of this technology around the world. The technology we will discuss is connected with electric engines. We are surrounded with electric engines, namely everywhere. Without electric engines, our life won't be the way we live today. Electric engines are used widely in different branches of industry, agriculture, electric vehicles. Even your washing machine exploit the electric engines we speak about. Now, currently, 80% of the electric engines are asynchronic electric engines. This is the most simple, reliable, and resilient engine technology that was invented for the time being. There are around 10,000 different kinds of such engines. In the whole world, we may count around 82 billion different electric engines around the world. 7 billion electric engines of asynchronic type are manufactured around the world annually. 60% of electric energy production consumption is used by asynchronic electric engines. There are 12 asynchronic electric engines per one inhabitant of the whole population of the world. We may definitely say that asynchronic electric engine is a unique and intangible part of everyday's life of each inhabitant of our planet. By design, such engines have so-called winding. This winding is made in copper wire. There are two types of this winding design, so-called star and triangle. They were invented a long time ago, and nowadays they are widely used around the world. This is the point that was developed by the Russian engineer and designer Dmitry Ivanovich Duyunov. Russian engineer Duyunov managed to combine two types of engine windings, a star and a triangle. This combined winding was called Slavyanka. What is the purpose of the combination of two types of windings in one engine? When we use these windings together, we achieve some new advantages that we will discuss later. When you think about this technology, you might think that this is very expensive. But in fact, we may take an old engine and change the winding, and we will have a new technology, a new engine with advantages we will discuss later. The first advantage of the technology is cutting the electricity consumption down. The engines with the technology applied may reduce the electricity consumption by 10 to 15%. The second advantage is a reduction of the price of the engine. The production of these engines use 30% less iron and other electrical materials. That is why the ultimate price of the engines is less. The third advantage is the increase of reliability of such engine models in 2 to 3 times. The first engines that were manufactured 20 years ago based on this technology are currently operated. There are a few other technological advantages of these technologies that are represented on our website. All these advantages combined may come to conclusion the technology allows us to manufacture the best electric engines that can be produced nowadays for the time being. For the time being, electric engines have so-called type of electric efficiency, E1. Duyunov technology allows us to manufacture electric engines with electricity efficiency grade E3 and E4. This is the highest level of electrical efficiency nowadays. Moreover, the companies that use this technology have high margins of profit. Such companies reduce their expenses on electricity consumption. Moreover, our engines have high grade of electrical efficiency. We may say that our engines may resolve a lot of ecological problems that are actively resolved by the governments of the world. Nowadays, there are a lot of new engines, electric engines in the world. That is why those engines require more and more electrical engines, electricity to be produced. For the time being, the whole world develops on the way to manufacture more and more electricity. And furthermore, the electricity manufacture is one of the main factors that affects the environment and pollution of this environment. Power stations adversely affect the climate. They pollute air, earth, and water. Power stations are confirmed to be one of the main polluting factor. Renewable sources of energy don't resolve this problem. For instance, if the whole world shifts from electric power stations to the power stations based on renewable sources, this will dramatically change the whole climate of our planet due to the reflection factor. That is why the main trend in this area is the trend to shift to cut the electricity consumption down. For the purpose, the whole world could use a lot amount of electric engines, and at the same time, to reduce the electricity consumption, we need to use electric efficient engines. And the only one technology that can resolve this problem by creating the new engines that consume a lot less the electricity. This is Duyunov technology. For the time being, engines made by Duyunov have no competitors by the factor of price, electricity consumption, and reliability. And one of the evidence, our technology has become one of the top important technologies for China. For the time being, China is the main stakeholder to reduce the electricity consumption and to resolve ecological problems. You may ask us about the evidence and the proof of the words said above. For those who hear about this technology for the first time, the first evidence of validity of this technology is the patents that were and licenses that were acquired. The first engines manufactured based on the Duyunov technology was produced in 1995. Researchers and designers have worked for 23 years to develop this type of engine. In the process of their work, they managed to achieve a lot of patents and licenses. There are a lot of researchers were made alongside of the patents and licenses achieved and acquired. Those researchers were obtained new certificates and licenses. All the certificates and licenses are downloaded on our website, and you can be familiar with all those certificates and licenses on our official website. The most important research that I would like you to pay attention to is so-called Bologna research, and the research made by Düsseldorf University. Those researchers were made on the territory of Europe because in Europe rather strict regulation in the area of licensing and certificates for those types of engines. We have finished with the theory, and now we come to the practical application of this technology. There are around 100 different companies that make profits on this technology. These companies are so-called license service partners or winders. Those winders or license service partners are entities and individuals who purchased the license from the Duyunov's company. And for the time being, all those companies have managed to modernize around several 100,000 different engines. Due to the profits the company has gained from those licensed service partners or winders, new researchers were financed. Besides of financial investments, those companies and individuals provided the company of a huge practical knowledge of this technology application. Due to the fact that those companies and individuals have managed to apply these technologies to several 100,000 different engines, we may say that the results of the practical testing were unbiased, and the technology is unique and universal and may be applied to each and any electric engine that is used around the world. The second way that supports the working of this technology and practical application is useful for each and every one of you, and each of you may use and apply this technology in your household. For this purpose, Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov has compiled and issued a reference book where you can make yourself familiar with different kinds of application of this technology. This reference book may be used to make familiar with the technology itself. Moreover, you may use some schemes that are specified in this reference book on your engines that you use in your household and everyday life. You may, on practice, apply this technology and make sure that this technology works. In general, we shall not prove that the technology is working, because all those facts are supported by patents, certificates, license, and practical knowledge and facts. Moreover, there are a lot of practical examples of these technology applications that will be discussed a little bit later. I talk about all those facts due to the fact that some of you may be not familiar with the technology and may have some doubts. This technology is mainly used in the electric vehicles area and is actively and widely used and applied there. The most important and the most famous development of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov is motor wheel. This is a unique development of a very powerful motor wheel that has no competitors on the whole world market. Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov managed to design this engine due to combined windings technology that was discussed above. This this achievement, technological achievement, you may buy in China, for instance. The first advantage we shall discuss is the price. The first thing that we shall discuss is that this engine does not contain any expensive details and materials. That is why the manufacturer's price for that vehicle is $150. This vehicle may be manufactured in any part of the world. In comparison to the engines that are sold on the Chinese market, Chinese motor wheels that are BLDC engines contain rather expensive materials in the form of rare earth metals. 95% of the rare earth metals are produced in China. Ultimately, China is the monopolist of these products on the world market and actively uses this monopoly to increase the prices for these rare earth metals. One of the main factors is that China has prohibited to export those types of mineral resources, and that is why to produce such type of motor wheels, you need to organize the production places on the territory of China, or to buy ready manufactured products. All these factors adversely affect the price and opportunity to buy those products. Duyunov's engines have no rare or rather expensive materials. That is why these engines have no such problems or issues and rather available to each and every citizen. The second advantage is the capacity of this engine. This motor wheel has capacity of 20 kilowatts. And those models of engines that are present on the Chinese market with the same weight and same dimensions have the capacity of 1 to 5 kilowatts. You may calculate the difference. Let's discuss the reliability of these types of engines. Asynchronic type electric engines are the most reliable engines in the world. That is why they are the most popular in the world. The electric engine in the form of a motor wheel is not exception. In order to demonstrate you the reliability of this engine, we have removed the cover, the protective cover for these engines, so the mud and the dust could get inside the engine. Ultimately, the engine operated in the normal way. There is a big list of other advantages of this engine. For instance, recuperation. It means that the electric bike that is using this type of electric engine is charging during the drive. Due to the absence of the electric magnets in comparison to Chinese engines, this engine has uh, no forces that reduce the power of this engine. That is why you may use this bike by rolling or come down from the mountain without any effort. You should remember and pay attention to the fact that the researchers and designers have a lot of different types of these electric engines. There is a motor wheel of 10 kilowatt capacity. There is also 27 kilowatt capacity engine for electric scooters. These engines are very suitable for for inhabitants of Asia because in Asia widely uses two-wheel transport. We shall pay attention to that this type of transport and technology was developed especially for India for its. If we have Indian representatives on our webinar, please pay attention to that. These unique products has been developed due to order from your country. All the further information you may be familiar with on our official website. Motor wheels were successfully applied to the electric vehicles. Duyunov's company has successfully developed motor wheel to the vehicles called Zeta. Zeta is a company that is manufacturer of electric vehicles. For the time being, the company has plans to manufacture to organize serial manufacture of those types of vehicles. In the nearest future, we will see a new electric transport in Russia that is made and based on the Duyunov technology. Duyunov technology may be applied not only to the motor wheels for the electric vehicles. This technology has been already applied to the other types of electric vehicles that already use so-called old type of electric engines. For instance, Renault Kangoo that has undergone the modernization process in Europe. This Renault Kangoo participated in different exhibitions and received a lot of awards for application of this technology. And another good example is Renault Twiz. Renault Twiz engines were modernized based on the Duyunov's technology. The characteristics of these engines have been improved from 2 to 4 times after modernization. This technology was also applied in the area of public transport. It was applied for the city trolley bus. After the modernization, this type of trolley bus has become more dynamic and more ecological in comparison to its counterparts. Another good example is electric train. This is so-called small electric train that is used in mines and tracks the produced mineral resources. Before modernization, this train could handle with 5 wagons with mineral resources. After modernization, this kind of train managed to pull 11 wagons with mineral resources. These are the practical examples of achievement that were made by Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov and its team. Another example may be electric generators that were modernized, and a huge amount of conventional electric engines that were modernized. We should also mention and pay attention to the fact that we have not only several types of prototype models of different public transport and vehicles. For the time being, the company has come to serial production of different types of engines. For instance, engine DR90S that is used in small dimension electric bikes and huge vehicles. Currently, each of you may buy an engine separately or the vehicle that is equipped with engine of such type. You should pay attention to the fact that this is only the intermediate step for the company, because the main task of the company is not a serial production of the engines. The main purpose of the company is to develop and design the new types of engines for the customer terms of reference. The company uh, uh, tried to achieve this goal all those years that were used for designing and development of these type of engines. As I mentioned before, the company has covered a long way for over 23 years of existence of this technology. The company has obtained 18 patents for this technology. The company has made a lot of different researchers in the area of this technology application. Due to our partners, this technology was applied in different areas and to several hundred thousands of different types of electric engines. Moreover, there were a lot of prototype models developed of these engines, and several ways of serial productions of these engines. But on a certain point, it became obvious and clear for us to achieve the main goal of our company. We need financial resources and investments to achieve this goal. The first decision was to attract a big investor or some investment banks. But in all the cases and in practice, big investors want the ultimate part of the shares of this project and to have ultimate control of the project. In fact, it means that we have to sell the technology to investor or to the management. Duyunov refused to use this method of investment and had made a decision to attract national investments. And he came to idea to attract individuals' investments, so-called crowd or national investments. This type of investment is well known as crowdfunding in the whole world. The main difference between the conventional crowdfunding and the type of crowdfunding that is used in our project that we target all the investments to the developments and investment itself. It means that all individuals who will make decision to support the designer and the whole project invest their money not voluntarily and not without the profit. This project provides that all the entities and individuals who invest in the project will become investors and in the future will be owners of the shares of the future enterprise. What type of business our company plans to pursue? Our company has plans to build a design bureau. This design bureau will be built and constructed in the special economic areas that is dedicated to this purpose. For the time being, the company has compiled and submitted all the documents required to get the approval from the Russian authorities to be part of this economic zone. And we are waiting for approval. After the company acquires the approval and the authorization, we will come to the phase to construct and to build this design and bureau. This development laboratory and design bureau will be engaged and involved in design and development new technology and new types of application of Duyunov's technology. How this work and process will look like. A potential customer comes to the design, approaches a design bureau. The customer provides the design bureau with the terms of reference for the type of electric engine he or she requires. Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov develops this type of engine and transfers to the customer the whole documentation for this engine. After the customer receives this technical documentation, he has the knowledge. He has not only the theoretical knowledge how this engine would look like and all the relevant documentation, but also the practical knowledge how to organize the serial production and manufacture of these type of engines. Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov designs not only the engine itself. He designs and develops the engine that is based on his personal developments. The customer receives the most efficient electric engines for that moment that can be invented in the whole world. Pay attention to the fact that the customer will not pay more for this development. But at the first phase, or when the construction bureau, design and bureau will be launched, we may reduce the prices for those developments to attract new customers and clients. What is the relevant price of this type of development? We should note that some relevant types of developments are produced by some companies, and those companies are approached by the leaders of the modern market. For instance, a BMW company, a BMW company wanted a motor wheel engine for their purposes. BMW approached the company that is engaged in those types of developments. The price of the development was 75 million euro. Recently, Siemens company was developing for their own purposes one of the electric engines. The price of the development was 300 million euro. We should pay attention to that there are orders for a little amounts of money. For instance, the company we have signed agreement for partnership. This company is engaged in production of electric tools and instruments, and several hundred million is at stake. Average price of the engine development is $50 million US dollars. And our company has signed several contracts for those developments. The question is that amount is enough or is not enough for our company? To build those manufacturing enterprise, we need 40 million US dollars. This amount of investment the company plans to attract during 3 years from the launch of the enterprise. It means that one big order may cover all the investments the company is attracting right now. It means you should pay attention to the fact that if the company attracts and gets a big order, the company will stop the investment attraction. In this case, the company will take part of the prepayment made by the customer, and that will be used for construction of the design and bureau. We may say that the company is building international business. We should note that the development of electric engines is the most profitable part and branch of the whole this business. And now we will come to the point that I will tell you the terms and conditions of participation in this project. Those of you and those individuals and entities that will support our project by investments will become not only investors, such individuals will become co-owners of the business and enterprise that is being established right now. Each and every investor receives shares and becomes a co-owner of the future design and bureau. We should mention also the fact that the investment scheme is absolutely transparent and is made in accordance to the current legislation. Each investor signs the investment agreement and a certificate that reflects the type of investment and the number of shares that this investor obtains. The main question is what is the purpose of those certificates and to be co-owner of that future enterprise. For the time being, the company is at the venture stage of development. When the companies that are on that stage attract the investments, they sell their shares much cheaper than their nominal price. This is so-called venture premium that a company pays to the investor to cover the risk the investors face. When the funding of the project is complete, the company plans to do IPO. During the IPO, each investor may sell the shares obtained by the price that is much higher than he buys right now. One of the reasons is that the company comes to the IPO with the nominal price of the shares. Nominal planned price is $1 per share. For the time being, you may purchase the shares of the company with a huge discount. All the relevant information is in the My Office section. One of the main questions you may ask is how much may earn on reselling those shares. If you buy the shares right now and sell during the IPO, the profit may vary from several hundred times or more. You may also keep those shares and not sell them after the IPO. This is your private property, and you may dispose it and use it as you want. Let's check the price of the shares and the interest rates of the companies that are on the stage our company is. We should also note that every and each company has come the venture phase that our company is on right now. But recently, the access and approach to such types of companies only huge funds, investment funds, and huge banks could have access to. For the time being, due to internet and crowd investment method, each and every one of you may become a participant of the company on the venture phase. And the company has the opportunity to attract the funds from not only several huge investors, but of thousands of smaller investors. Let's provide a few examples of those companies. This has gone through this venture phase a long time ago. For instance, shares of the Google. The price of Google company shares has an increase of 10, 100 times for 16 years. The Apple company shares have value has increased 68,000 times. Shares of Alibaba company that was unknown and not popular company just recently, and the price of the shares of that company have increased in 4 million times for several years. These examples may say to us that those types of company are very good type of investment on the venture stage. And we would like to involve and engage you in development of our company, and you may buy those shares right now and today. Meanwhile, when you will be owner of those shares, you may not also earn some profits on the rise of the share value, but also the second source of profit will be dividends from the company. We shall pay attention to the fact that the market of electric engines development is very profitable, and 50% of the all profits generated, the company will distribute among its investors. You have a great chance to gain profits on your share and on your shares. You will receive all those dividends through stock market and with all the relevant documents applied for the tax purposes. And now we will talk about our achievements for the first year of our performance. During the first year, the company managed to attract сколько миллионов?
5.
Managed to attract $5 million of investments.
При этом первый год.
In comparison to our plans and forecasts, the company planned to attract only $1 million for the first year. So only for the first year of our activity, we have managed to cover our plans 5 times. For the time being, the total number of our project participants is more than 100,000. Our participants are from more than 100 countries of the world. Moreover, our company has more than 2,000 1,000 different partners around the world that provide assistance to the company in the area of investment attraction. For the first investments attracted, first investments attracted by the company were used to deploy the infrastructure that will be used for future goals of the company, namely laboratory, stand equipment, and the design in plot that will be used for development of new types of electric engines. In all those sectors are actively involved in all types of active work. Laboratory used by our team that is on everyday basis works to develop new types of engines. Experimental section is used to develop new prototypes, model, and to test them that will be on the market in the nearest future. Stand section is used to compare the developed prototypes of electric engines with those that our competitors may offer to the world market. We should not mention the fact that we have no competitors that have developed the similar engines that Duyunov's company manufactures. A distinct feature of our company is that our company is a public company. All type of work that is made in the laboratory and the testing section is covered by our news in very detail, and you may get all the relevant and information in detail on our official website. Please follow us on the network, on the social media, and all the relevant news you may also get in the My Office section. What is the most important things that are provided by the laboratory, testing section, and standing equipment? This is the very design and bureau that we are planning to construct, but in smaller scales. These sections may be used to make all the scope of works necessary for development of new types of engines. And all those works also cover the stages from receipt of documentation from the customer to manufacture of development batch and provision of the documentation to the customer. All those steps and measures will allow us to get profits even before we will complete the attractions of the necessary amounts of money. It means that we will get some profits and financing not only on investments that will be attracted from our investors, but also on the orders that will be made to our customers for that stage of development. This is not the exhaustive list of events that the company faced during the first year of its activity. Our company has got a lot of new orders from different companies from Europe, from Russia, and from China. Our company has obtained new patents that significantly increase the intellectual potential of our company. We should pay attention to the very important event that our company signed an agreement with the government of Weihai region of China that is a free economic zone, and that is very important and breakthrough agreement. As we all know, the China makes copies of different technologies and innovations. Moreover, the Chinese do not copy their inner developments and innovations due to rather strict criminal punishments. That is why to enter the Chinese market, you need to find some very powerful companies that will, or lobby forces that will protect you inside Chinese market. We have those powers that is represented by the government of the Weihai region of China. And this government will be involved and engaged in protection of the investment interests of the company on the territory of China. That is why the government of that region will provide protection and will pursue criminal proceedings against those who will try to approach and to copy our technology on the Chinese market. For the time being, we organize and arrange a rather close partnership with China. We plan to manufacture first development batches of the electric engines based on the Duyunov technology, and we have also managed to receive a lot of awards from the Chinese government. As a result of these awards, we, along with our partner Aristov, that is actively promoting our interest on the territory of China. And for the time being, Aristov is approached by different Chinese businessmen and representative of Chinese government in terms of a future collaboration. For the time being, the technology is in the area of interest by different countries that are actively involved in development or actively use the technology of electric engines. The American company Marussia Motors that was purchased by Chrysler company plans to make order for development of electric engine in Duyunov company. For the time being, we have concluded several agreements for partnership from China, India, and other countries. For the time being, each and every person should pay attention to the future. First of all, each person should pay attention to its prosperity and its future in financial area. That is why a lot of people are attracted by the crowd investment method. Investment methods may be very different. You may invest in different shares, equities, and real estate, or you can invest or use investment method as crowd investing. The main problem the investors face is how to find the best methods for investments. Crowd investments allows you to figure out the best and poor sides of investments. Crowd investment is the most revolutionary method of investment for the time being. It allows you not only to figure out what is the subject of investments, but allows you to get the profits that you cannot achieve in other areas. You shall invest in different investment subjects, but crowd investment is one of the most interesting and attractive methods for investments. What is the difference between our project and other projects based on the crowd investing method? The companies that is on the venture phase and that attractive in that part that our company are simply a few companies around the world. You should not test or somehow figure out if the technology will work. We should not test the practical application of this technology. We should only provide support to the company and practically implement the technology. Due to crowd investing, you may not only become an investor of the project that is created by the Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov, but become a participant of of the practical implementation of the technology in the worldwide. In a few next years, this company will become a big international company in the area of electric engines application. And as I mentioned before, the investments is the best method to provide the secure future for you and your families. That is why Duyunov's project may become for you a financial stability support and one of the sources to resolve the ecological problems worldwide. We should also pay attention to the fact that the company has attracted a big investor. We have signed additional investment agreement with this investor. These investments will be used and attracted in case the company fails to attract the amounts necessary by crowd investment. It means that the project will be implemented anyway. The question is, will you become a participant of a breakthrough project? Will you earn some profits with the company? And will you have the chance to secure your future? As I mentioned before, the company is absolutely transparent. If you want to see what is happening on the testing plot, on the other plots of production and development, I recommend you to sign in on our official site, and in your personal office area, you may follow everyday events that reflect the development of our company. Moreover, you may follow us on the social media. You should pay attention to the fact that the company will send its shares on more expensively. The share value increases in case the investment risks are declining. Each increase in company share value means that the company has achieved a new threshold, new goals, and the company comes closer to the ultimate goals of investment attraction. In the nearest future, the share price value will be increased and the company will come to the next stage of its development. So if you make a decision to become a participant of our project, now it's the right time to purchase the shares on the very, very attractive price. I remind you that for this purpose, you need to sign in, and you can make it in your My Office section. And this was the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, you may ask your questions in the chat box or in the area for questions that is at the upper top of webinar room. Now we will turn to the questions section, and I will answer all those questions. Are there any news on Alabushevo? Alabushevo is the very special economic zone where our design laboratory bureau will be constructed. As I mentioned before, our application for construction in this special economic zone was accepted by the Russian authorities. We have undergone all the relevant checks, and now we are waiting for invitation of the committee that is responsible for approval of our company to be a resident of that special economic zone. Next question. How we can get license to apply Slavyanka winding on my country, Indonesia? How much have to pay and what else to accomplish to transfer technology? The license itself is free of charge, but the profits you gain applying this technology, and part of the generated profit you will have to transfer to the development company. In order to know all the package of documents for Indonesia, you will have to contact the officer and the details of the officer will be specified on the website I will provide you right now. Website with the relevant information I will send to the chat box of our webinar room. The next question. Special economic zone is any news? This question was answered before. Our application was accepted, and we have undergone all the checks and completed all the checks. And for the time being, we're waiting for the standing committee to invite us and to make the ultimate decision to provide us residence permit. Can you send me the PowerPoint presentation in English? Yes, we can do it for you. Submit us your email and we will send you the presentation in English. We will be able to have an audio video of this webinar. All our webinars you may watch. All the webinars we have made, you can watch recorded.
Следующий вопрос.
Please tell us more about Viktor Arestov and cooperation with Denzel Company. Viktor Arestov is a partner of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov, one of the first partners. Their cooperation started in 2011. Viktor Arestov worked in Europe and India for a long time, and now he is working on promotion of our technology in China. And Viktor Arestov was one of the person who was attracted to promote and to develop the production and manufacture of electric engines based on Duyunov's technology on the territory of China. Viktor Arestov now involved with Denzel Company and provides serial batches production of those engines. He provides assistance in production, promotion, and popularization of those engines in China. Moreover, he is involved in promotion of technology itself in China. Why Solar Group Limited is registered on the territory of Vanuatu Republic and not on the territory of Russia? This is not also the fact. We have registered a group of companies. Part of the companies has registration on the territory of Russia. There are European companies as well. And we have one more offshore company. Why is that so? It is made in accordance with the current legislation. And current legislation allows us to establish companies in different parts of the world and attract investments from each part of the world. In some countries, in particular in Russia, Russia has no legislation dedicated to crowd investing. That is why we use legislation of our countries, other countries, to work legally and to use this investment method. Our company group, as well as our legal department and all the legal documentation and agreements are compiled in accordance with the English law. English law is one of the most reliable legislations all over the world in terms of investments and economic activity. So exactly this scheme of investment attraction, we can provide a legal basis for investments for any investor from any country of the world. Why the project is not financed by large investors, billionaires, and the powerful? This is not obviously the truth. For the time being, we have one big investor that will complete the investment in case of necessity. But this is the ultimate measure because the investments attraction of investments by individuals has already begun, and we would like to provide opportunity for those individuals who could just make themselves familiar with the project but didn't know about the project before. And you should pay attention to that we don't need all the money of all those individuals right now. So, our company have enough investment amounts on a monthly basis to put and to develop these our projects according to our plans. If we talk about the stage the company was a little bit earlier, I have mentioned before that the large investors ask to get the control package of shares. It means that we will sell our technology and lose the control on our company. And developers decided to reject those offers and decided to develop our company by the crowd financing method. How much did Denzel pay to rewind using Slavyanka technology? Denzel company has been cooperating with Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov for a long time. This company provided support and assistance to Mr. Duyunov to develop electric vehicles and transport that we have right now. They provided different equipment and controllers that were required for development of that transport free of charge. That was exactly the reason why Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov made a decision not to take any money for licenses. And those license service partners pay pay for each engines they support and service. The next question, why not remove new areas and start production before entering Alabushua? The equipment that a company has, we may use to develop and manufacture new types of electric engines. Meanwhile, we cannot reach the ultimate production capacity. That is why the big part of the works that we'll have to do will be done on the equipment and using the equipment we will have right now. In order to reach the production capacity and the goals the company has set, we need to build a new production enterprise in the Alabusho Free Economic Zone in order to get orders from different customers. Was that the question about the financial guarantees? I think that this question is dedicated to guarantees in terms of investments. I have already mentioned that our investment scheme is absolutely transparent and attractive for investors. Each investor receives investment agreement and a certificate that reflects the number of shares that the investor obtains. Very soon, all those documents you'll be able to receive by post in paper. You'll be able to see them not only in digital form, but also in paper form. If you want that we will examine the guarantees in detail, there are also a few attachments to the investment agreement. These are this attachment dedicated to crowd investing method, and also attachment dedicated to your personal data, All the documents are formalized and compiled based on your passport details, so you can check that all the investments made exactly you as investor. Your passport details are required to provide your right of ownership and your title to those shares. All the documents that are available for signing, you may be familiar with all the documents that are required for signing in the section called My Documents. The investment agreement has a lot of attachments. The company has a lot of binding agreements, and the agreements and attachments stipulate all the necessary steps you can make, and all the provisions of those attachments and investment agreements stipulate all different mechanisms that can be used by investor to protect its investments and its title to those shares. How Sergei Semyonov is associated and connected with the developments by Duyunov. Sergei Semyonov is the head of investment department of the company. Sergei Semyonov organized the investment scheme for this project. He is director of the company Solar Group. This is the company you sign investment agreement with. How many stages of the project? And for the time being, we mean that the 7th stage of the project. There are 3 years in which we plan to attract investors, and those 3 years are divided into 20 investment stages. Yes, for the time being, we are on the 7th stage of project development. And very soon we will come to the 8th stage of project investment. And we may come to the 8th or even 9th stage of development if we miss some stages of development, if we attract necessary amounts of money. We have faced the situation like that. When we were on the 5th stage of financing, we have missed the 6th stage of development. We have known the 6th stage of development because the goals that were provided for the 6th stage were achieved on the 5th stage. We can have the same situation this time. How will be Equities will be changed for the shares. This event will happen after the completion of the project financing. Each person will receive an agreement. Its and current share and current part of ownership, equities will be shares. When do you plan to close the shares selling? We will close and complete the sale of company shares. The first case when we will close the sale of our shares is when we will reach the necessary amount of investment. It may happen a lot earlier than anybody can expect. You should note that we will have the ultimate amount of money that the company will require, and there are a lot of shares that are reserved for the current participants. It means that those participants promise us to pay the ultimate price of the shares, and they provide us with every month payments, and but have not made and have not paid out all the price of those shares. This instrument is called payment in installments. It means that any person may purchase shares, a number of shares, and not paying for the price of all package of shares instantly. But this person can provide us with the monthly payments. And when we received all the amount that was promised by the persons that promised us to pay the whole price, we will close the entry for new investors.
Уже инвесторов.
We will wait for the old investors to provide us all the money they promised us, and we will close the entry for new investors. The second variant, we will also close the entry for new investors in case we receive the order from a potential customer, and we will close and we will cover the amount of money we lack for the ultimate amount of investment we require. It may happen any time, and in any cases of the specified above, we will close the entry for new investors, and we will start our activities as was discussed above. The closure for new investors entry will happen later than in 1 year and a half from this date. We have finished our presentation, and I think that we should close it. It was our first webinar and presentation in English. So pay attention to the fact that in future we plan to hold webinars in different languages. So if you have any further questions, you may visit our webinar and ask them personally. Don't forget to follow us on different media, where you can ask your questions and follow us in different languages as well. Please remember about the chat groups in different messages, where the current and future investors exchange their experience and ask each other the questions dedicated to our project. For attention to all those visitors of this webinar that attend us for the first time, I recommend you to approach the person who sent you the information about this webinar. He will provide you the support and assistance necessary to figure out the essence and of this project. Please send this information, provide this information to your close relatives and friends. This is not only due to the fact that you can provide support to this project and complete to reach the necessary investment amount. As a consequence of your actions on sharing the information, you'll be able to gain profits earlier than the planned dates. Don't forget the recommendations you may provide to your relatives and friends. You may earn some fees for attraction in new investment in the face of your relative or friend. These fees are paid by the companies, and those fees are marketing expenses are considered to be marketing expenses of the company for the purposes of its development. We have reached these significant results due to this multi-level crowd investment. Now this is the end of our webinar. Thanks for your attention. Follow us on the social media. Sign in our personal in your office. Become participant of our chats and visit our future webinars. I wish you good luck and see you on the next webinars.